Sam Lundell is a name that many people in our area are familiar with. Not only is he a talented violinist, pianist, guitarist, vocalist, and dancer, but this young man also spends countless hours volunteering and fundraising. Sam is an excellent role model in our communities, and we caught up with him this week in our studios. Welcome to the show, Sam. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
More than happy to have you here. So tell me what you've been up to lately, because we ran into you at the Fame Showcase this past weekend.
Yes, ran into you at the Festival Showcase. I'd kind of been living at the Vic Juba over the past weekend. It's kind of my home away from home on weekends like that, and yeah, so it's been fun. We had Festival Showcase and then Girl with the Golden Heart before that. So yeah, it's been awesome. It's been a busy past couple of weeks.
And it's a good place to be, the Juba, definitely. And before that, Telemiracle was not that long ago, and you were performing there, right?
Yes, it was a couple weekends ago. It was an amazing experience. You know, just being able to be backstage and see the well-oiled machine that it is, and have that opportunity to just be a part of that. Because I mean, the amount of sound men they have, the amount of techs they have, the amount of talented performers they have. An amazing experience, and it's just a totally laid-back atmosphere too. It's just a fun time just to be able to hang out and at the same time be raising money for such an amazing cause. Lloydminster and area, I found out when we got there, donated over $74,000.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah,
eh?
through the work of the Kingsmen and Kinet's fundraising, they do an amazing job. I was involved with their fundraiser at the Stockade Convention Center, and yeah, just an unbelievable turnout, unbelievable promotion they do. Just an absolutely fantastic job.
Was this your first time performing at Telemiracle?
Yes, this was my first time performing at Telemiracle.
And how'd you get involved with that? Because there was an audition process,
yes.
right?
It kind of started with my grandparents on my dad's side. I'd watched it since it began 36 years ago, and my dad grew up watching it, so it's just one of those things, it's kind of a family tradition. And yeah, so that's how it started, and then my dad and I and my mom, we looked into the audition process and stuff, and we thought, well, why not? So I got my piece ready, and Dad and I took a road trip up to Saskatoon and auditioned there, and then talked to the producers of the show, just got some critique back from them, and waited to get the letter end of November.
And what was that feeling like when you found out that you were going to be on Telemiracle?
It was pretty cool. Yeah, it's just something, especially that's so well known and across Saskatchewan, and something that means so much to our family. It was a pretty cool feeling.
And another huge thing that you did that we were lucky enough to go to was the Haiti fundraiser in Vermilion?
Yes, in Vermilion, Parkview Alliance Church. That was an awesome night. That was actually blew out my expectations. We had 2 sold-out seatings. Yeah, and the silent auction, dessert auction. We raised over $9,000 just from that one night. So that was a totally encouraging experience to have the exposure and the community come out and support us. So yeah.
Well, the community definitely coming out and supporting, but you do so much with all your fundraising, all your community work. How do people get a hold of you? Like, do you just volunteer for these things, or do people come and ask you to perform?
The Haiti fundraiser, it all depends on the specific situation. Sometimes people will know my dad, people will know my mom, people will sometimes just find me after another performance that I've done and just be like, hey, we've got this coming up, do you want to come and help us out? So it all just depends on on the relationship I have with the people, and just they get a hold of me however they need to, and God just works out the specifics of where I need to be.
And that's something that I really want to ask you about now is your missionary work. So I remember the first time we met, you told me an unbelievable story. Where have you been and what were you doing? Yeah,
I've had the opportunity to do some pretty cool stuff. I went with my oldest brother to the jungles of Ecuador in 2010, summer of 2010, and yeah, it was life-changing, really. And I mean, just seeing the people who live there, just like even from the guys from the U.S. who had gone down and are now full-time missionaries there, just the passion they have for these people, and the love that they have just to want to be able to bring God's love to them. And it was an amazing opportunity. The one village we went to, the only other white people that they'd ever seen was the guys who were taking us in to the jungle. So yeah, so it was pretty crazy. Some scary stuff sometimes. We were in this boat that probably was only 6 inches wider than I am. And and it was probably a good 10 feet long, and you just had to stay still and hope that you didn't lean too much one way or too much the other. And just stuff like that. But at the same time, there's what you're there to do. Like you're there to bring the love of Jesus to these people, and you're confident that that's what God wants you to do, and you're confident that it's in his hands and that he just has control over it. So there's no fear involved. There's no worry.
Coming up after these messages, Sam plays an acoustic set in the Around the Region studios.